Hi guys, I've got a printer and I bet you got one too. 6 months ago it reminded me that I need to buy a new ink cassette, but as usually I just ignored it until the day I wanted to print out a label for my package and it was like all white. We all run in these situations, and even though our printers get smarter every day, they just can't replace themselves. HP has kind of a solution for that, and I'm here with Thomas Brown to talk a little bit about that. Just please quickly introduce yourself.
All right, hey everybody, my name's Thom Brown, I work for HP. Sometimes they call me the inkologist, as it says on my badge, and really I help understand competitive analysis and where HP products stand against the competition. And then once in a while I get to wear my lab coat outside and meet with people such as you and customers and really help them understand the technology behind inkjet. It's quite amazing actually.
What's the solution for running out of ink at a certain spot of time where you can't have no ink?
Yeah, you know, running out of ink is much like when you run out of milk, right? It's always when you need it the most. So, you know, I spend a lot of my time actually explaining to our users how ink is made. And actually it's quite an amazing process. The reality is people think ink is really expensive because they think it's just colored water. But the reality is it takes tons and tons of effort and research to make it happen. In fact, every ink formulation from HP, and by the way there's over 100 different ink formulations, takes about 3 to 5 years to develop.
Oh.
Yeah, and about 1,000 prototypes. And look at that. We do things in the lab all the time that are quite miraculous almost. Actually, this is a chemistry trick. It's called an iodine clock reaction. This actually isn't how HP ink is made. But it's things like this that we get to play with all the time to show really how much effort and science and technology goes into developing an ink system. It takes a lot of effort. And you know, so typically then, when people learn that I'm an inkologist, they ask me, Tom, why does ink cost so much? And so I go into a really long explanation around the technology and how much effort it takes to design it, you know, the 3 to 5 years and 1,000 prototypes. And for example, too, this image here of my daughter, how many drops of ink do you think are on this one photograph? They're microscopic.
Millions?
35 million.
Whoa.
Exactly. Can you see any of those dots? Probably not with your naked eye, right?
No.
So the reality is we're delivering like 35 million drops of ink in about 20 seconds to print this on your home printer. And this is just a typical home printer from HP. We have office printers that are even faster. This is your typical home output. But it's not easy to deliver 35 million drops of ink in 20 seconds and make it happen time and time and time again in a reliable fashion with high quality. And that's why it takes so much effort, and that's the reason why ink costs what it does. However, we've been addressing the cost of ink throughout many years now because of course everyone asks, why does ink cost so much? So over the past decade we've come up with different solutions, different ways to truly reduce the cost of printing. But the key here is to not compromise the quality or performance. So for example, if this cartridge were empty, any user could choose to have this refilled with a lower quality, cheaper ink to save money. However, when you cut corners that way, you can also cut quality reliability. So here would be example of an original print versus a cheaper refill print. Can you see which one's
crap quality?
This is crap quality, as he says. This is the cheaper refill. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah.
So we can't do that, to cut corners to reduce the cost. So what else can we do? Well, we can come up with truly innovative ideas to help reduce the cost of printing. So HP, of course, for the past 30 years has been known as the printing industry leader. And we've had innovative products throughout those past 30 years. In fact, just a couple years ago, we released an inkjet printer that is now the world's fastest printer. So believe it or not, inkjet can be faster than laser printers and any other type of technology. Inkjet truly does push the boundaries. It's quite amazing. So we've had tons of product innovation going on, but we also have a business innovation going on, and this is what we call now instant ink. So with HP Instant Ink, you can actually truly reduce the cost of printing. In fact, up to 50% lower cost than other methods, than the normal method for ink. And on top of that too, it's not compromising the quality. It's the same exact ink formulation, same exact quality, same performance, just at a lower price. Plus the added convenience, which is directly hitting what your concern is, you never run out of ink.
Yeah.
So the idea behind HP Instant Ink is simple. It's a monthly service program where the ink automatically comes to your doorstep at your home before it runs out.
Do I have to sign for that, or is it not necessary for me to be there?
It is not necessary for you to be there. It goes to the normal postal mail service. And the simple thing with HP Instant Ink service is that your printer has to be a web-enabled HP printer. And currently there's 17 printer models that have this capability. This printer could even be 1 or 2 years old. If it has web-enabled functionality, you can have the service of Instant Ink, or any of our newer printers, of course. So you have to have it connected to the internet so that it can communicate with HP. And it tells HP when the ink is starting to get low, and then a new shipment of cartridges is sent automatically to your door via the postal service. And then you're charged a monthly fee via your bank or credit card.
Would you recommend one printer especially for that service?
No.
Okay.
So the whole idea behind the HP portfolio is we have different options or segments that are better targeted or suited for you specifically. Because I probably use my printer differently than you use your printer,
Yes.
right? I mean, I'm the oncologist. So the idea is that not every printer, just like a shoe, fits different people in different ways, and you need to find the best match for you. And the simple way to approach this is if you're buying a new printer, ask yourself one question: do you print daily or do you print weekly? That's a really easy way to separate the two camps or categories. So if you print daily, you want something more of our Office Jet print lineup. And so in the Office Jet printers, they're really designed for high speed, high output, daily printing intervals, like in the office, since the name Office Jet. And then for your home, you print usually occasionally or once a week or something like that. All of our DeskJet printers and NV printers are really well designed for the weekly or occasionally type usage.
So you mentioned that everyone uses their printers differently.
They do.
I print like 3 pages a week. Are there different plans for users who print more and less?
Perfect, yes, there are. So the Instant Ink program, there's actually 3 different models available. So it starts at €2.99 per month, and then there's a $4.99 and a $9.99 per month. And the $2.99 gives you 50 pages per month, the $4.99 for 100 pages, and the $9.99 for 300 pages. So most home users, by the way, print 43 pages per month. That's the average usage. So the 50-page €3 plan is perfect for that usage scenario.
You mentioned plan. Can I cancel my order like in 6 months, 7 months, monthly?
Yes, you can. So the whole idea behind this is we want to improve the printing experience for you, for any user, whether it be a home or small office or whatever. And so we don't want to have any penalties from getting in the plan or out of the plan, or even moving within the plan. So here's the cool thing. It's because HP Instant Ink is a service and not a product. You can change how you use it, when you use it, if you want to use it, whatever. So what I mean by that is I can buy any web-enabled printer today from HP from, I think it's 79 or 89 euros, all the way up to 399, have this capability. And I can buy that printer, and I can decide right when I buy the printer, do I want Instant Ink, yes or no? And then I can decide a year from now, do I want Instant Ink, yes or no? Or if I'm in the program, I can get out a year from now or tomorrow or whatever if I'm not happy with it. Or if I figure out that my 50-page plan isn't going to be appropriate this month, like maybe it's the holidays, and I'm going to print out a lot of holiday cards, I can go up to the 100-page plan for the next month. So I can plan ahead, I can get in and out, I can jump, there's no penalties, you can move around whatever you want to do.
So you talked about the 3 different programs. What target audience do you have in mind for them?
Yeah, so with the 3 tiers, the idea is we want to be able to capture the different user needs, right? So the 50-page plan is probably ideal for most home users. because the average monthly print volume of most home users is 43 pages per month. So it should be ideal for most home users. However, some homes, of course, have maybe a few more kids than normal, or maybe more usage, maybe a small home business. The 100-page plan then is the next step. That's probably ideal for them. Or maybe even a student, right, who has to print essays and turn essays in. And then you move up into the 300-page plan. That's really well suited for like a small business, a small office really, who's printing almost on a daily rate, right, at 300 pages. So that's why we have all three of those. Now, what's cool about every single plan option is if you don't use all of your pages, you can actually carry over the remaining pages to the next month. So just like mobile phones have this, right, with data usage. There is a cap, however, right? So like the 50-page, it's 2x your plan. So the 50-page plan has a cap of 100 pages that you can carry over max. And of course, 100 page at 200 and 300 at 600. Furthermore, if you do use all your pages for the month and you still need to print more, you can buy additional pages at still a low cost. So there's a lot of flexibility in the plan, which should suit then pretty much everyone. And then on top of that, if the HP Instant Ink program isn't suitable for you, you can decide to get out of the program or not sign up for it at all, and the same printer can still be used in a normal fashion. So this is the beautiful part about it, is that the product doesn't change, your printer doesn't change. It's a service that you would add on or remove depending on your needs and your usage scenario.
So you mentioned it's connected to the internet.
It is.
To monitor if the cartridge is full or empty. I think people could think they could be worried because let's say I write a letter to a friend of mine how much I hate my HP printer. Does HP know that I hate my HP printer because I wrote it and printed it with your printer?
Well, first you would never say you hate your HP printer, right? No, here's how we understand ink usage. You have electricity in your house?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do you think the electric company understands where you use your electricity and for which appliances?
No.
No, they only know how much is going in. That's the same thing with the Instant Ink program. The only thing that we keep track of is how many pages you've printed. That's it. We don't know what's on the page. We don't know how much ink is on the page. It's different. And you know, a page is a page is a page, so it doesn't matter to us. It could be a full text document or it could be a photo. It's the same price, same usage scenario. It's flat rate.
The data anyway, let's go a little bit in deep. Is stored with HP or with a third company?
It's always within HP. So HP, on the printing side, there's been some security concerns in the past because especially in businesses or offices, right, the printer is usually connected to your network and hackers in the past have gotten in through your printer address. So HP is well aware of that, and in fact, all of our printers are absolutely secure. In fact, HP has the world's most secure printers. So we've used that same philosophy with the Instant Ink program. So everything is owned within HP, and we do cybersecurity threats all the time because of our PC business too and our server business, so we understand what's happening, it's always evolving, and we're always a step ahead.
What was your initial feedback of the customers?
To begin the story, we actually started in the United States almost 2 years ago. And prior to that, there was even beta testing going on for quite a while. And let me tell you, because it's all vertically integrated within HP, you know, the entire system and the program and how it works, we do have to rely, of course, on the postal system. But other than that, we had to figure out all the ins and outs and the variables. And so to ensure like the ink gets to your door before you run out, we had to actually build 7 different algorithms into the ink cartridge and the printer itself so that we capture all the potential events so that you actually don't run out of ink, right? So a simple one is measuring how much ink is left in your tank, right? But what if you're getting low on ink and today you decide to print 50 pages? That's not your normal usage scenario. So we need to be able to include enough ink in that cartridge to get you still through today and not run out of ink. So we have all these fun little things that are built into the system to really help capture that. So during the beta testing phase, because this is a learning process for HP too, we ran into something really interesting when it came to the shipment of the new supplies. So this is what you get in the mail. This one's traveled with me, by the way, in my luggage, so it usually isn't this beat up. But when you get the Instant Ink program and the new cartridges, it comes in this little package like this. And this one is for my home printer, which consists of 2 cartridges. And this is what arrives. No, by the way, you do get also a return envelope to recycle your empty cartridges. Very cool. So this is what came. And during our beta testing, we're shipping this, of course, to your house to see how the program works. And because we're not used to shipping something like this direct from HP, we ran into an interesting shipping issue where this tiny little package arrived on a pallet at your doorstep.
That was really surprising for the owner.
Yes,
I think.
And it was even wrapped in the plastic, the shrink wrap, and they had to cut it open and remove it. And then of course, the delivery that brought the pallet wouldn't take the pallet back with them. And so the person that received the entire pallet had to take the pallet too. Luckily, he was able to use it for firewood, but it's fun little things like that we learned about. By the way, that's all fixed now. It comes in this normal size. You don't have to worry about a pallet.
And even if it's cold, we all could use a little bit fire. I came across your video where you get underwater. We can't recreate that now, but in the video they spoke about how waterproof HP ink is.
Yes.
How do you arrange that?
Well, it's a secret. We can't tell you everything.
Okay.
The reality is it goes into our development phase. So specifically the inks that are with our office printers, they're highly durable and water resistant on any type of paper. And so the idea behind this is we include things in our ink formulation. One of them is called a polymer binder. If you remember back to your chemistry days in school, it helps the ink stick to the page. And so that's one of the things one trick that we would use, chemistry trick, to help the ink actually adhere to the page and not come off when it's re-wetted under water. The other thing that we do, especially in our office printers, is use ink technology that's called pigment technology. And pigment technology essentially are little tiny rocks. And think about how rocks are durable in the environment, right? Rocks can live in water, and they do wear down over time, right? But it takes a long time for that rock to wear down in water. So we use pigment technology to help be strong, really, for the ink to stick to the paper.
I was really thinking about my old chemistry days right now.
Good.
But your lesson today was way more fun and informative. You mentioned you're an incologist. How does one get to be an incologist?
Well, it's a very grueling process. I've been in HP for 18 years now, and so it took a while to reach that level. No, actually, inkologist is a fun little name that we made up, and there's truly no inkologist within HP. Sorry. But there are tons and tons, hundreds and hundreds of ink chemists and engineers that really help develop the entire system, from the ink formulation itself to how the cartridge works and the printhead design and the writing system. There has to be a way to communicate between the computer or your mobile phone, right, to allow the printer to print what it does.
I hope we didn't crush too many dreams right now.
Still go out there and get it. It actually is a really cool, fun thing. I mean, I know people don't think that ink is exciting or sexy, but once you really start to realize the technology and how it works, you're like, wow, that's really amazing. Like, for example, do you know that the printhead, this is what ejects or fires the ink from the cartridge here, it's actually made up of a computer chip. It's a silicon wafer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so just like when you're using your phone or your computer, the computer chip, it gets hot, doesn't it?
Yes.
So the byproduct of computing is heat. We use the heat to actually excite liquid, or the drop of ink, to move all on its own.
Oh.
So essentially what we do is at the printhead, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of little microscopic nozzles. Each one's about 1/3 the width of your hair. And behind each nozzle is a resistor, which is a heater, essentially. The byproduct of electricity being resisted is heat. And so we actually have a heater behind each nozzle. We turn on that heater, and it turns up to about 300 degrees Celsius, and it essentially explodes that microscopic drop of ink out the nozzle.
Oh.
And because it only has one direction to go, the nozzle, it's its escape route, it's actually jetted out that tiny nozzle, and when it leaves at 50 kilometers per hour.
That's fast.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And every heater, every nozzle, we have the capability to turn it on and off up to 36,000 times per second. That's just some of the amazing stuff that goes on. So it truly is a cool job to help design and engineer the print system.
And in fact, it helped you to get an amazing service started.
That's right. It's not about product, it's about the entire experience, and this is where Instant Ink is heading as the future.